Hello, and welcome to the Steve and Mark Discuss podcast, where good old Steve here, he brings up a subject. I listen to him talk about it for a few minutes. I will pass a comment, and then Steve will pass comments on my comments, and we have a discussion. So, over to Steve.
Hello again, people. I say again, of course, because this is look like a follow-on from a previous podcast about Argentina and how Argentina is being changed in terms of government and the economy. And this podcast is going to be about the economy, which our friend Millet is changing the whole concept of what is an economy. So here we go. What did he do? As well as cutting his government by 50%, he's cut the value of the currency by 50%, and he's cut transport, and energy subsidies. Um, the immediate, it's going to have a change on the what's called the blue currency in Argentina. Here it's called paralelo, which is like an alternative currency market, unofficial, where people change the local currency for US dollars or for euros or for a currency that's more sound, if you like. And it's now 1,300, around about 1,300 pesos Argentinos for $1, when it used to be a half of that. And the official ratio is 800 pesos for $1. So you do it unofficially, you get more pesos for your buck, if you like.
Yeah.
Now, this isn't anything strange to me because I've seen it done before. I've seen it done here in Brazil before.
Yeah.
In 1994, there was rife inflation in Brazil. It was over 1,000% a year. Sorry.
Yeah.
So it's about 40% a month. And me as finding my legs, I came here in 91. So I had 3 years of rampant inflation, how to deal with rampant inflation, when to spend your money, when not to spend your money, where to hide your money, where to cut.
Yeah.
And I learned all that rather quickly. If I didn't, I'd be skint, by the month end. Things like if you lent a friend a fiver and they give it you back at the end of the month, you'd want like £20 in change.
Yeah.
Be paid back to combat the inflation. So anyway, I've seen it done here in Brazil, where the Cruzeiro Real was rampant. What they did is they devalued the Cruzeiro Real.
Yeah.
Luckily, on the day that they devalued the Cruzeiro Real, I bought a second-hand computer.
Yeah.
And I just paid them what they asked for in real. Of course, if you change it into dollar, then I'll be paying half the price because because that's what changed the value of the currency. And why did they do this? Why did he do this? It's because of the internal debt.
Yeah.
When your currency is worth less, rather than worthless.
Yeah.
Worth less.
Worthless. Yeah.
You pay off your internal debts.
Yeah.
In your local currency, so that you don't have any internal debts anymore. External debts is something else. If you have to if you have to change it into dollar, then the ratio between your peso and your dollar. They had a thing here in Brazil where companies were selling cars with a dollarized contract, with the interest rate really low. And what happened is that there was a shock people were buying these hand over fist, these, only paying like 1% a month in dollar terms.
Yeah.
But then there was a shock in the system of the economy system, and all of a sudden, I think the real, which is a currency today, changed from 1 to 5, and all of a sudden these people had to find 5 times as much money to pay for the car loans.
Yeah.
Because they were paying in dollar, In the end, the Justice Department said they didn't have to pay 5 times more. I think the judge probably had one of these contracts, dollarized contracts, and so to save himself a few bob, he said anyway. They inflated the debt away, and then they started with a new currency.
Yeah.
Here in Brazil.
Yeah.
It used to be called the unit of real value, and in the end, it changed to being a real,
Wow.
which is what we have today.
Yeah.
And this is what this guy's. I think this is what this guy's trying to do in Argentina.
Yeah.
It's doing the same thing as what Itamar Franco and Fernando Henrique Cardoso did here in Brazil. And he's just got to look at how Brazil has progressed since '94 to now to see how much the real has been disvalorized, devalued. How it's devalued is it's now around about 5 reais for $1, so it's lost 5 times its unit over the years.
Yeah,
and he's admitted that in the short term, inflation is going to be rife in Argentina. He's quite aware of that. He's cut transport and energy subsidies, which means that energy is going to go up in Argentina. The cost of energy is going to go up. And of course, the cost of transport. When I say transport, I mean public transport. The poorer people, the buses to go to work, instead of paying 10 pesos, now they're going to have to pay something like 50 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate.
But I think that probably in about a year's time, Argentina is going to get their act sorted out in terms of the economy. As long as the politicians keep their fingers out of the till. I was thinking about this the other night. What makes a government always have basically go bankrupt? And it's because people have got their fingers in the till and they don't know when to stop. I think you've got Ukraine now. Right, they've been given so much money, more than their gross domestic product has been given to them. All the wealth that they produce has been given to them, and still more, and still they can't get their act together. Paying for the in the Ukraine, it's paying for the bankrolling the staff, bankrolling the politicians, bankrolling everything, pension funds. And still, because everybody's got the fingers in the till in Ukraine. But anyway, I digress. We're talking about Argentina. And I think in about a year's time, it should be sorting themselves out. And if they can control themselves, then this Milei guy is going to be a hero. If they can't keep their fingers out the till, it's going to be a zero. So let's see what happens.
Well, I think he's very well of the risks. He's a man with a plan. There's actually a man with a plan in Brazil. In South America at the moment. I mean, he's looked around. I mean, people think he came from nothing. He's been well known. He is a seasoned economist and a seasoned politico. He understands what it is, and I think he'll be well aware of the corruption. He does overall, from what I've read of him, and I've not gone overboard with him because he annoyed me about his comments about something else, but we'll leave that. But okay, that's an Argentinian thing. But no, he does seem to be clean. When I say clean, I've not found anything around him. People criticizing him for the chainsaw, but he's making a point. Yeah, the cutting. He had his Bolsonaro moment with the tripod stand, as it were. Yeah. He's making. Yeah, he's coming to clean up the economy, to work it all out. There used to be a saying: an honest politician is no good to anyone. That might be his problem. He's an honest politician. Quote. Yeah. He's been direct what he's going to do. When he was doing his address, it wasn't all positivity and this is going to be wonderful and all that. We're all going to suffer. It wasn't quite, we're all in it together. But he made the point is, yeah, and the lead up to it, he made people very aware of what he was going to do. Within hours, he's done it. He's doing it.
The only time where he went back on his word is because during his campaign, he said that Argentina is going to pull out the Paris Climate Accord, and because he thinks the environment it's a climate change hoax. And once he was elected, is not that Argentina is not pulling out the Paris Climate Accord.
Well,
so something was said to him somewhere by somebody about something.
What you have to remember that there is a political thing. Or he might play. Let's put it this way: he might pay lip service to it. It's to suddenly turn your back on everything, on everyone. I mean, to him that's inconsequential. I mean, they can't agree what is climate change, really. Let's be honest about it. There's all these documents that keeps changing. He'll know that. Eventually, he'll probably start getting quite robust. Well, what am I actually meant to believe of you guys? He'll start doing things like this, possibly. Yeah, tell me. He's not in a position to actually make too many enemies in the world. Argentina will need to trade with people and everything. I mean, and yeah, he's probably got to keep a few people happy back home as well. I don't know. I mean, yeah, okay. Of all the things to actually turn your back on and say go back on, that's probably so minor in many ways. Because what can anyone do? What can anyone say to him? Well, I can bankrupt my country if I follow what you guys are saying. It's bankrupting Europe. I mean, we never bought it that when Greta told us some years ago that by now we'd be swimming in water, well, yeah.
She did. Al Gore did. Al Gore. Then he went and bought a seaside house.
Yeah.
On the coast.
Well, I mean,
as did Barack Obama.
Yeah. Well, we all know. I mean, yeah. I mean, when we're talking about the environment, and this isn't the podcast to do it on. I mean, we all want a cleaner future, and things. The environment has got cleaner. My argument is plant more trees. If you want to get rid of carbon dioxide, plant more trees. And Jordan Peterson has made this point on stage, but again, it's a digression. There's probably another podcast in there someday. But he is I quite like him. I like what he said. He's been quite straight. It's not going to be an easy time. It's almost like Thatcher coming in the UK. We hated the notion of it, what she was saying, but what other options were there? She probably saved the UK. I mean, we can argue about the figures on that forevermore. Yeah. Overall, she probably saved the UK. This guy will probably save Argentina if he's allowed to. That's the other thing. I mean, he's not exactly in with the globalist club, is he? Let's be honest about that. He's not a signed up member.
I think it's going to be a Enrique Cardoso.
Yeah, I like the guy.
He's going to be that sort of character.
Yeah, I mean,
Fernando Enrique Cardoso.
Yeah, I mean, we all know. Yeah, previous to FHC, the administration Brazil had before that, which the guy's still about. I think is he still an actor? Yeah. Um, it's a it's a big mammoth task what Argentina have. As you said, it's a big country. It should be, let's be honest, the wealthiest country in South America. I mean, Brazil has this big with lots of resources. I mean, yeah, Brazil. We live in a country in Brazil that could close off its borders, feed itself, and if you understand what I mean, and be quite, yeah, self-substantial, substantive. Yeah. Um, Argentina probably isn't quite that, but certainly with banking and everything else, the expertise and the way the Argentinians are and everything, they're basically, yeah, they're quite aggressive people business wise. When I say aggressive, I mean they're not ill informed or anything else. They're emotional, but they're a mixture of Spanish and Italian. Well, that's like, I won't go down that road on this, but you understand what I'm saying. So, Italians who happen to speak Spanish. Yeah, obviously, he's done the old trick, though, of using a certain nationalistic emblem to unite people behind. So he's done a political trick already with that. And I know that. Yeah, if I was in his position, I'd do exactly the same, possibly. Yeah, to get everybody thinking with me. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. I mean, okay, it can go extreme, but we all know nothing's going to happen with that. But yeah, that's the Falkland Islands. If anyone thinks I'm talking cryptically, so
For a minute, then I thought he was on about Las Malvinas. Sorry.
No, the Falkland Islands. The Falkland Islands. I've had words with you before about this, Mr. Allen. Yeah. I mean, yes, but it's to say, I wish the guy luck. I really do, because it's going to be awful for Argentinians in the short term. A lot of them. I do wish him luck. I hope he can achieve, because I don't like to see any administration fail anywhere, because there's always ordinary people like you and I involved. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, there might be rivals for us at football. I support Tottenham Hotspur, which has always had a good Argentinian connection. We've had some good players from there. Some real gentlemen as well, I may add. There was never anything wrong with the Argentinian players. What happens on a football field happens, you know. I don't expect anyone to be nicer.
Diego Maradona.
Great footballer.
He spoilt it.
Absolutely great dream to watch it. I mean, when he beat England, okay, hand of God. There were three officials on the field then that should have picked that up. I don't blame him. But the second goal he did was sheer brilliance. And they said, oh well, the English players were psychologically damaged. Excuse me, you know, you're a professional player. You don't suffer breakdowns. You play to the final whistle. But again, yeah, he had his issues with drink and drugs and things, and he's still a great icon of football. And yeah, I was sad at his passing. Did I like him as a person? I saw things. I think he was a Jekyll and Hyde character. Sports full of them. Yeah, he was Argentinian. I didn't have the hatred that some people had for him. I thought that, yeah, he probably wasn't the brightest person who ended up in a very, very high position, and had the wrong people around him who kept being sycophantical to him and pumping him up. Yeah, sometimes we need people to kick us down a bit. The right people, not people to destroy us, people to nudge us. So, but anyway, getting back to Argentina, I hope he's successful. I am part of the South American community now, for that alone. So we shall see what happens, and I hope there could be. And our former president went and had a meeting with him last week, you know, so which was a rather interesting state of affairs, I felt.
Both on the leaning towards the right, so I don't think it was that's sort of strange.
Wow.
But if he follows through with how they did it here in Brazil with the Plano Real,
yeah,
and the public has the patience,
Mm.
and the politicians don't do anything stupid, then it should all work out. It should work itself out.
Well, let's pray, hope, and watch is all we can do.
Yep.
Okay.